Mic check, mic check. We got the mic sounding live. What's going on, everybody? Not sure if it's truly live, but I got a question to open it up. You ever do something and instantly regret it? That's the question I'm asking for tonight. You, yeah, you heard me right. You heard me twice. You ever do something just off a whim or whatever, and then instantly regret it? But tell you what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm chilling, just minding my business, trying to watch some Netflix or whatever. I get a notification. I reach for the phone. Looks like an interesting video. I pull it up and start listening. I'm a little bit surprised because I had unsubbed to the channel that I'm talking about. But I go listening, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm riding with the ideas. And then all of a sudden, in that one split second, dude drops one line, and I'm like, that's why I don't be watching this fool. Grand rising, everybody. How y'all doing? Peace to all the positive people in the universe. What's good, Richmond, Virginia? If you're out here in these Halloween streets, enjoy yourself, but please be careful because y'all know. Anybody else that knows how to look beyond the smoke and mirrors, we put puzzle pieces together, and that's what we talk about on this show. Now, I got a little piece of West African wisdom for you as I try to get situated here. The one who carries the calabash doesn't feel its weight. Keep that in your mind as I progress through these puzzle pieces. Because oppressors never understand the burden that they place on the rest of us, on the oppressed of us. And that's why appealing to their morality doesn't work. And that's also why you can't be wishy-washy. You can't be two-faced. You can't choose both sides. Now, I'm getting to us. What are we talking about? Now, if you saw the title of the show, then that should give you a little hint. Yeah, we're talking about the TYT folk, Cenk Uygur or Uygur. Sorry if I said your name incorrectly. That's not, intentional. I do try to get people's names right. But we're talking about the TYT, progressive MAGA man. Yeah, that don't make no sense, right? The battle royale for hate, kingdomness. So what's good, everybody? Because we're going to be talking about this tonight. I don't think I'm going to be here too long, though, but kick off your shoes, relax your feet, and let's duke it out in the comments. Now, I don't know if you saw it. I hadn't seen it because, like I said, technically, originally, I had stopped watching the guy's show. I unsubbed from his channel back in December. But y'all know how the algorithm works. It'll feed you stuff whether you subscribe to it or not. So I ended up watching a Piers Morgan episode. Don't shoot me, and don't come for me. Hear me out. Because I only watch the Piers Morgan stuff if it has somebody of significant value on there. I don't rock with Piers Morgan either. But I do rock with Mark Lamont Hill, Dr. Mark Lamont Hill. And he was on there. So yeah, I felt compelled to watch that episode. So I'm watching that episode, and that told the algorithm, show some more Piers Morgan. So like I said, I end up clicking the link off the notification. And what do you know? Cenk Uygur is in a heated debate with Katie Miller. Now, for those of you who don't know, Katie Miller is Stephen Miller's wife. If you don't know Stephen Miller, just think Taco Man, right-hand man. But it's what? Now, watching the show, I feel compelled to take the side of Cenk. Because I like to fancy myself a progressive, and he calls himself a progressive. That's what we're talking about. Fake progressives. That's what we're going to unpack tonight. Because here's the thing. When someone who claims to be progressive And then as they get into their little tirades about this, that, and the other, or this, that, and the third, they start using progressive ideas like punching bags and insults, like a slur. Like they want to twist everything around for a gotcha moment. Well, when you see that, that's when memory bells start ringing. Houston, we got a problem. And it's not new. Like, shame on me for forgetting. But that's also one of the reasons why I decided I'm gonna talk about this for a little bit, because I forgot. And so in forgetting, well, I just got my wake-up call reminder. And hopefully I'm not the only person that forgot. And so for all of you who may have forgotten like me, we're gonna re-expose it tonight. Because now, if you didn't forget, then you already know Black creators had already started walking away from TYT a couple of years ago. So let me break down what happened and why it matters and why this pattern reveals something even deeper. Because like I said, you know, it all started on the Piers Morgan show. And I kind of want to show the clip, but, you know, I don't know how them folk play. Sometimes them folk will start striking your channel just because you use their stuff. So I kind of want to play it, but I kind of don't. So at this particular point, I'm just going to ask you to bear with me, and I'm going to ask you Israel and Gaza. Things got heated. Cenk criticized Israel's actions, and he called the Millers liars. Now, this is not an alleged thing. This is what actually takes place on the Piers Morgan show. Now, Katie Miller's response, she accuses him of anti-Semitic rhetoric, and she says, and I quote, "I'm raising Jewish children." And now get this, she literally threatened this man's citizenship, and she told him, "Check your citizenship application and make sure everything is correct." Now, I know that's wild. Now, if you disagree, if you don't think that's kind of wild, say something to me. Drop it in the comment section. But so at that point, I'm like, wait a minute. I kind of feel compelled to take Cenk's side. Like, that's wrong. Woe is me. Shame on me. I should have known the 52 fake out was coming. Now, she was clearly deflecting, and instead of addressing his criticisms about policy, she tried to do the 52 fake out and make it about her identity. And she tried to cancel him from the debate. She threatened to walk off the show. So in that regard, it's fair to criticize what she did and how she did it. It's fair to see, it's clear, it's obvious that she was trying to use her identity as a shield to avoid substantive discussion. Now, it's funny because y'all know that's what the right always does. Oh, I'm sorry. That's what the right always accuses the left of doing. Anytime you bring up something of substance, they tell you you're playing the race card or some other identity card. But so again, yeah, at that point, I'm like, I think I'm on Cenk's side. Wait, it gets worse. Wait, it gets worse. But it gets worse. Now, when Cenk goes back to his own show, TYT, he said Katie Miller was doing quote unquote DEI. He said she went full woke identity politics. He mocked her for playing the DEI card. Now, hold up. That's when the bells went off. That's when the memories started flooding back. This dude ain't who he think he is. I'm sorry. This dude ain't who we think he is. Now's the time to get real. Because Cenk could have said, she's being a hypocrite. That would have been fair ground. He could have said, she's deflecting from the substance. That would have been obvious. That would have been clear. He could have said she's weaponizing her identity to avoid accountability. That would have been appropriate. But no, instead he chose to swing low for low-hanging fruit and call her DEI, and his co-host says it's DEI on steroids. Now, I want to be clear. Ain't nothing that lady said or did was DEI. But see, here's the thing. They're trying to use DEI as a slur. Why? They're borrowing right-wing framing. Why? They're treating diversity, equity, and inclusion, the idea, the program, the thought that having a boardroom, having a classroom, having a company, having any kind of space in this country that isn't entirely made of white Anglo-Saxon Protestants as the standard. Any idea that goes against that now becomes a punchline. Somehow that's inherently bad. Somehow that's something that you mock. Now, I would call it, like, if we was out in them streets, I would say it was a move. But I'm trying to stay above the fray. So I'm not going to use that kind of language. But it was a B move. And I ain't talking about the alphabet. We are now currently in a moment where all the DEI programs are, vastly being dismantled. And yeah, it does seem as if there's no stopping that train. And it does seem as though it's all gone. It's not all entirely gone. It's definitely on its last leg. But even if it's all gone, that doesn't mean using it as a punching bag is right. If DEI is a bad thing, that means we are living in the era of increased racial discrimination. Because when you attack equity, you attack fairness. So we got TYT, the lead TYT anchor man, Cenk, out here using DEI as an insult, giving ammunition to people who want to tear down all. And here's the thing. He wants to stand on his high horse. He wants to stand his ground on being an American citizen. And I'm not taking that from him. But what I'm saying is, if you recognize that the MAGA crowd is only interested in a certain kind of American, and you're not that kind of American, you keep effing around it, you gonna find out. That's why that lady threatened his citizenship. So you want to call DEI bad? It's like trying to score points with the wrong team. It's like dry snitching on the whole movement. It's throwing DEI under the bus so you can score points in your personal beef with a right winger, not recognizing and realizing that them right wingers don't like you, no matter how much you swerve to their side. Now, as I said, this ain't necessarily anything new. Excuse me for trying to bring up old news. But I just got instantly reminded this is why black folk left the TYT universe. Now, if you don't know, I don't mind providing a little bit of extra context for you, because black creators had peaked this a while ago. And as a matter of fact, it was even I myself, like, I unsubscribed from the channel back in December 2024, right after the Trump administration, right after that announcement. That's right. Now, a brother by the name of Mondale Robinson, you probably know who he is. If you don't, you need to look him up and find out. But Mondale Robinson he is the founder of the Black Male Voter Project. And at the time, or before December 2024, he was a regular TYT contributor. This brother had seen the light to the point where he quit live on air. All cameras rolling. He said, that's it. Had enough. Can't take you MAGA type folks. I'm out. He called out TYT's MAGA swerve, MAGA shift. He called them out for abandoning progressive values. Now, the funny thing, again, like I said, fool me once, shame on you. No, shame on me. Whatever. I got fooled a second time, but there will not be a third. Now, Robinson back then, he said, and this is crucial, he said, white figures within progressive spaces often have the privilege to navigate between ideologies without facing the same repercussions as their black counterparts. Y'all catch that? So now I'm not saying, don't get it twisted. This is not an argument that black people, black figures should be allowed to hop, skip, jump across, play both sides of the fence. No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying at all. We don't want that. We don't need that. We don't like that. We don't respect that. But that's the point. Since we don't respect it, if we're going to call ourselves to the carpet when we see that, just like Clandis Owens running around trying to be pro MAGA on one day, and then, or pro Trump on one day, and then when he tell her, you know, your time here is done, then she want to be anti, then she want to come back to the black community. Nah, we don't play that. So for black activists engaging with or even appearing to endorse conservative ideologies, that carries severe consequences. It should carry the same severity of consequences for non-black activists. You can't be progressive on Monday and conservative on Tuesday. Now, that might be news for some people, especially if you're not heavenly blessed with the melanin. You might think white progressive media figures, of course they can flirt with right-wing talking points. Of course they're allowed to use anti-DEI language. They can bunny hop from platform to platform and face no consequences. But what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If black folk ain't gonna do it, then anybody that we are aligned with, they ain't supposed to be doing it either. Now, I don't mind you disagreeing with me. That's absolutely fine. We can duke it out on the battlefield, the comment section. But let me take a moment just to say, like, share, and subscribe is the name of the game. Hit the buttons. Yeah, I said it. Hit all the buttons. The like button, the notification, ring my bell, the notification button. Why? It don't cost you a thing, but it does help us. And we appreciate it. And it keeps the algorithm jumping. As a matter of fact, that's how I ended up seeing this silly example, this ridiculous Cenk and TYT video, because the algorithm awards clicks. I clicked one Piers Morgan video, I get another one. So y'all understand what I'm trying to say. Support the channel. It's free for you. But let me keep moving. Okay, I'm off my little commercial. Because I want to make sure we all remember, because it goes back further. It's not just today's DEI thing. Back in 2018, black journalist by the name of Andrew Jones filed a racial discrimination complaint against TYT. Now, in that lawsuit, you know, lawsuits have been the thing of the day. Y'all did hear, I did a clip earlier. Let me sidebar for a second. I did a clip earlier about the judges. Rhode Island and Massachusetts told Trump, you're going to have to pay them people SNAP benefits. So shout out to those judges. But again, back in 2018, another judge heard a case brought by Andrew Jones, a black journalist. Now, Jones alleged that he was treated more harshly than his white colleagues as an employee at TYT. And when he raised concerns about racial bias with Cenk, allegedly, let me make sure that I inform you what I am about to say is alleged. Cenk allegedly told him that complaining about racial discrimination was a fireable offense. Now you let that sink in. this progressive. Allegedly, he told Andrew Jones, shut the F up and deal. Allegedly, you let that sink in. A progressive media company telling a black employee to shut up about racism or get fired. So what you think about that?
Can't handle the truth.
Can you handle the truth?
But wait, it gets worse. But wait, it gets worse. You can't handle the truth. But wait, it gets worse. But wait, it gets worse.
Y'all get what I'm putting down. Y'all see what I'm putting down, right? Because I'm not finished. It gets worse. Let's go back. We went to 2018. Now let's go back to 2020. Because in 2020, TYT fought against their own workers trying to unionize. Sound like Amazon fighting Christopher Smalls for trying to unionize. But I thought he was a progressive. It's supposed to be a progressive outlet. But they're union busting. Make it make sense. Now I'm gonna tell you why this matters. I'm actually glad that this reminder came to me. I'm glad that this Quran came to me. Because when Cenk uses DEI as an insult, it's not just about that comment. It's about the pattern. Treating black employees poorly, union busting against all the employees. Why is he even allowed to call himself a progressive? Losing black contributors live on air because they say the platform itself has abandoned the cause and the fight. And now you add the final puzzle piece of the DEI slur. See, you can't claim to be progressive while using the language of the right to attack equity. You can't claim to be progressive and create a hostile work environment for black employees. You can't be progressive and fight against labor organizing. And the chef's kiss, the cherry on top, is watching black creators walk away and they still ain't learned nothing. Now I'm about to land my plane. If anybody wants to, challenge me or talk and extend the conversation, I'll stick around for comments and etc. But I'm about to land my plane. Because I know some people, like me, did walk away from the platform. But I also know some people keep watching. You've been watching for years and you might be thinking, it's not that bad. It ain't that deep. He was just calling out hypocrisy. Maybe. But I'm here to say, no, I'm sorry. He may have been calling out hypocrisy, but it's the way in which he did it, that's a problem. It is that deep. Because when white progressive figures use DEI as a slur, they're not just criticizing the other side's tactics. They're undermining the entire framework of equity and inclusion that they say they uphold. What's worse is they're giving cover to people who want to dismantle the programs entirely. It's like being a cheerleader for the team, the Trump administration, but then saying, hey, that wasn't me on the field, don't blame me. Now, plenty of black creators saw this coming, as I said. Plenty of black creators walked away, as I said. I myself walked away, as I said. I just forgot. Shame on me for forgetting. But I'm going to remember now. Because if you value diversity, if you value equity, if you value inclusion, then you don't use it as a boogeyman. You don't dog whistle it to death. You stand your ground and you maintain your commitment to equity and justice. That's the very reason Target is hurting right now. Their corporate executives do not like the fact that the Negro population has not returned to the doors. Nah, we ain't gonna let you play in our faces like that. You hold your ground on progressive issues, you hold your ground on progressive media, or you get held accountable. That is why so many of us unsubscribed. That's why Black creators walked away live and in living color. And that's why any of you, if you haven't noticed, if you weren't aware, hopefully you find my channel and you now become aware. And that's why you should think twice before platforming voices that treat equity like that dirty word. That's why you should think twice before watching platforms that treat equity like it's a dirty word. Now, if anything I said resonated with you, please hit the like button. Please leave a comment. I do have a comment. Oh, let me show that. I said I got some new stuff popping. Is Cenk progressive? Or is he MAGA? Or is he just a grifter? We can settle this right now. Drop a comment below. So, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, pro-Black people, Pan-African people, and everybody that looks beyond the smoke and mirrors, this is your brother Shabazz. This is the proper perspective. If anything I said makes sense to you, do us both a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, share the channel with somebody else with whom it may resonate. Let me know your thoughts on the battlefield in the comment section below. I'm going to leave you with that. Hope y'all enjoy yourselves and hope y'all stay safe on this Halloween night if that is what you participate in. Peace.